Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and we're continuing with our look back at the 1978 science fiction television series Battlestar Galactica, the original Battlestar Galactica. Excuse me. Um, and from my least favorite episode, which I uploaded just before this, to some of the best. And this is a double-parter called The Living Legend. So I think even from the 70s and early 80s, perhaps these two episodes, a double-parter, is among some of the best in science fiction history. So The Living Legend has us introduced to the characters of Kane, played by Lloyd Bridges, and his daughter, who's Lieutenant Sheba, played by Anne Lockhart, the absolutely sweet, wonderful Anne Lockhart who plays Sheba. Now, Apollo and Starbuck, along with some other Vipers, I guess, they are pursued by two other Vipers. Initially, they don't know who they are, and then they turns out to be pilots from the Pegasus, which was assumed to be lost and destroyed in the war. However, they were actually away for 2 years, and they have been fighting the Cylons all of their own, just one Battlestar against, and going and destroying a lot of, doing a lot of sneak attacks and going full gung-ho against the Cylons. Now it is Lieutenant Boje and Lieutenant Sheba, two partners who have been pursuing Apollo and Starbuck, and they take them to the Pegasus. They actually thought that the Pegasus was actually destroyed. They know that it's Commander Keynes, who is a legendary commander, and sort of like Adama is going to be meeting his match in the kind of awe and respect and even almost mythological status in terms of military leaders. And he is played awesomely by Lloyd Bridges, who I've mostly seen in comedic roles, but he plays an awesome military commander over here. So they are greeted by Kane, and they share a drink together, and he tells them, okay, now that we have two Battlestars, we can mount an even bigger attack against the Cylons. Now apparently there's a planet called Gamorrean, which is now a huge Cylon settlement. It used to be a planet of 50 million people. I don't really know if they're humans. I tried to find that out, but I don't. Anyway, they were 50 million inhabitants on that planet. They have been wiped off, and it's now completely Cylons. They call it even Cylon civilians, and this is weird because the fact is they're all robots. So why would the Cylons need civilian roles? I'm not really sure. Anyway, that's what they say, and there is a parade there for their illustrious leader, the Emperor, and he is actually going to be coming there, their supreme commander. Of course, you have Baltar also trying to get to the Galactica. So there is a big clash in philosophies. Adama, whose role is to be protecting not just the soldiers, warriors on his Battlestar, but also the surviving civilians. He takes a more pragmatic approach, while Kane is more like, now that we've got two Battlestars, I need to go and attack. I need to win this. He is completely the warrior. This does not go well with Adama, and now there's a big clash between them. And Adama, as a senior commander, decides to remove Kane from his role and decides to take over both the Battlestars. He has Colonel Ty transferred over as the temporary commander of the Pegasus. This does not go well with the. I need to drink a little water. Sorry. This does not go well with the warriors on the Pegasus, because they feel that they've survived the last 2 years mainly because of the leadership of Kane. He's like a god to them, a living legend, and they're willing to do anything, even a full military mutiny, arrange a coup, whatever necessary to get their leader back into power. However, he has accepted he realizes that his methods probably not true, because the fact is they had the luxury of not having of unarmed civilian ships, a fleet of unarmed civilian ships behind them and having to protect them. They've only been themselves, so they they don't really know what it takes to actually protect a lot of civilians with them, which while Adama does, and they have a back and forth. So they decide that they're going to stand up against Adama and Apollo. However, sorry about that. But however, before they can actually do it, they run into some Cylons, and there is an attack. They decide to finally attack the planet Gamorrean with Bojang and Sheba, along with Apollo, Starbuck, and Cassiopeia and Numa. They go down to the planet. They plant the explosives. They destroy the entire the huge gathering of Cylons who are there to welcome the illustrious emperor. I keep forgetting what they call it. Illustrious leader, whatever it's imperious leader. I think that's what they call it. And so they are at victory. However, while Baltar is there, he thinks it's only the Galactica that is there, and he isn't prepared to see the Pegasus bearing down on him. He manages to escape along with a small group of his Cylons. The Pegasus goes off into the distance, and in the explosion, it looks like they might have been destroyed, but at the same time, it also looks like they may have had to go another way to lead the Cylons away from the rest of the fleet. So it's actually, this episode leaves the fate of the Pegasus and Commander Kane in doubt. However, Sheba and Bojang was injured first, and Sheba as well, were transferred onto the Galactica before this happened. So they continue on in the series as members of the Galactica. We don't really know what happens to the Pegasus. The plan was to bring them back as recurring characters, Kane and his people. Had the series continued on for a little while, but for a few more seasons, but of course it got cancelled at the end of the season 1, so you never get to see them again. So the fate of the Pegasus is unknown, but I think all of us fans do know that yes, they do survive and they manage to get back to the Galactica. I only wish this series had continued. Anyway, a few things that we have to talk about. Like I said, Gamorrean. No clue as to what they were. 50 million inhabitants. Were they humans? Were they some other sort of species? We don't know. But apparently the Cylons are now controlling almost half the inhabited universe at this particular point. So I don't know if there are other races who they have destroyed and taken over their planets and stuff like that. These are things that they haven't actually been able to answer. Lloyd Bridges, like I mentioned, plays an amazing character. Jack Stoffer is the actor who plays Bojang. He has a few more appearances as well. And of course, Anne Lockhart was added on as a new love interest for Apollo, but she's also considered to be somewhat, she's an excellent pilot. She's a warrior at the same time. But yeah, she's pretty sweet. You can actually make her, and the actress herself. I've seen a few interviews with her. She's an amazingly sweet and wonderful person, and just like the character. I mean, even the character's got a tougher side as well. But yeah, you can make out in several scenes. She's almost crying in several of the episodes. A very, very sweet actress. So on to the second part of the episode. Just try to see if there's any notes that I can mention. Like I said, this is probably one of my favorites. I'm not really sure if this is my favorite episode, but yeah, it definitely is an amazing two-parter series. The Imperious Leader, that's the name I can't get. Not Emperor, it's Imperious Leader, and of course he is destroyed. But his consciousness is downloaded onto another IL Cylon, IL rank Cylon, and then he continues on. Bojack would be seen for another couple of episodes. What else? That's about it. Initially, I think they were planning to have Sheba only appear in one episode, but because she gelled well with the rest of the cast, they decided to make her I think she's labeled as a recurring character, but yeah, to be honest, she's a main character from now on. And they decided to keep her on, and which is one of the best things to happen. However, the sad part about this is that, the show got cancelled at the end. Oh yeah, the other thing, I was keeping this for the end. There is a little bit of a love triangle happening because Cassiopeia used to have a thing with Commander King, and they are reunited for a little while, and you actually see Starbuck getting jealous. The Playboy does have feelings for Cassiopeia after all. A little sad thing to note that Athena has been completely pushed on to the sidelines. She's in a small. I think she's only in a couple of scenes in this two-parter. I was really sad as well. I mean, they could have done a lot more with the series. One of the things that they did was, they pushed the female characters aside, especially, killing off Serena. Well, okay, she did get Sheba after that, but at the same time, Athena gets completely pushed off, and then towards the last few episodes, I don't think they actually show her towards the end. That was actually kind of sad, but yeah. So that's The Living Legend, Part 1 and Part 2. Some of the best episodes that you can see in this science fiction series. Rating, I would give it a 9 out of 10. There are a few things that probably could have made it a little better, but at the same time, it's amazing to watch. So 9 out of 10 for The Living Legends Part 1 and Part 2. See you again pretty soon.